Hey, I'm TheLoopyAlchemist, and welcome back to Let's Play Skyrim. Alright, well, last time we did the yeoman's work of delivering a message to Ulfric, and now we are going to go defend Whiterun from a bunch of Stormcloaks. Alright, well, today we're basically just going to be fighting, and I will be talking a lot about the Civil War. Now, one thing I really don't get why Ulfric doesn't do now is why, like, now that he knows that they're going to, like, now that he knows we're expecting an attack, why attack here? Just take your forces and attack someplace else. Like, use the element of surprise. Like, I know it kind of goes against the entire Nord honor thing, but you're trying to win a war here. You're going to have to do some diplomatic tricks and whatnot, and yeah, overall, it's just not a very smart move. And where did these guys get siege engines from? Honestly, I have to say I'm pretty impressed. And where are those Whiterun guards running? Why? You know what, never mind, let's just go fight this. And yeah. Now, another thing the Empire could do right here is, I'm not quite sure how much cavalry is used in the Elder Scrolls universe, like how much of a precedent there is for that, but when you consider the highway patrols that are mounted in Oblivion, you would think they would have those, and since you're entirely able to do horse combat, like on horseback, that was pretty obvious, why did I say that, have some of them out in the field and get them to circle around and attack the Stormcloaks from behind. And, by the way, I wonder if anyone's manning that watchtower. Like, you know, the one where we fought our first dragon? You know what? Probably not. Well, I don't know. It didn't get destroyed that badly in the fight, and it'd be kind of another nice strategic post to have, but I don't know, I guess bring everyone back to defend here. And right now we are just, I guess, half... Who is that running away? I know what I guess question for the day right here, would you make a run for it into the countryside, or seek refuge within within Whiterun? I would probably make a run for it to Riverwood and kind of wait there to see what would happen. Like, I mean... And, oh, I don't think that battle cry worked, but you know what? Whatever. Again, just looked cool. So I don't know. Let's just fight this out. And, whoa. Okay, I guess I'm not needed over there. Why are these guys running into battle with bows? And yeah, this is just going to basically be a fight fest. Or why did I use that word? That sounds stupid. That word made me sound really stupid. Alright, well, let's just keep fighting this out. I was going to say slugfest, but that didn't... That sounds bad too. Like, the only other time I've really... I don't know, I've heard that word before in, like, a couple history books. Like, for an example, some of the Battle of Jutland in World War I was a slugfest between the German High Seas Fleet, or I guess more appropriately the Kriegsmarine High Seas Fleet, and the Royal Navy. So yeah, I'm not making up words, it has a precedent, but they are just kind of, well, not old-timey, but not really in modern, or, well, really frequent use, and, well, my health is getting kind of low. But yeah, their words, just really, really obscure words. And... oh, wow. Am I the only one fighting out here? No, there's a Rika. That might be Hadvard, I can't see, but too clearly. The light's bad. Is that Hadvar, is that you? Or is that Rika? And did I accidentally, like, hit you with my sword? If so, I'm sorry. And yeah, that looked really cool. Alright. Well... You know, you don't really see too many night battles. Like... I'm surprised no one has torches. And, oh, just leveled up. Yeah, I guess I may as well do this stuff right now. Like, generally I like to wait until I'm low health and kind of use it to regenerate mid-battle, like... But, yeah, oh well. And... Oh no, they're attacking our guys. Well, of course they're attacking our guys, but... Oh, I thought that was a... Oh, never mind, that was a Stormcloak. I thought that was an Imperial soldier that was, like, injured really badly. And I wonder who loots all the bodies when this is done. Like, the troops get to do that, since it's, like, technically on the Jarl's territory. Why can I not pronounce territory today? Does he get to do it? Or is it just, like, whoever? And by the way, if the Stormcloaks gained the city, I wonder if they'd sack it. Like, yeah, I know, like, in-game, if you play as a Stormcloak, they don't, but it seems like something they might do. And, oh, I got an officer, nice. Yeah, sorry if this isn't, like, the most... Oh, that... glitchy, but cool. Yeah, sorry, what happened back there? Wow, he just went flying. And, you know what? I'm not going to bother chasing them. By the way, like... Yeah, I'm definitely not going to chase him while I'm wearing this heavy armor. Yeah, sorry, like, the commentary for a lot of this episode hasn't been, that interesting, so to speak. I'll just do a victory show right there, but I know, I've just kind of find it hard to talk about stuff when I'm just mindlessly killing enemies. Alright, well, right now, Bulgref, you guys probably can't hear this, but he is just basically giving us like a victory speech, and yeah, not really that much else to say about it. One thing I guess could have been done as well is you could probably blockade the passes in between here and Windhelm pretty easily. Like, you kind of know the one bottleneck bit I'm talking about in between the two mountains and the river. Like, there's other ways you could get around that, but that's the most direct route. You'd think you'd might want to have at least a small force up there to slow them down and maybe trip them up a bit, or have some counter-guerrilla forces. Like, the Stormcloaks can't exactly do a prolonged siege because they're so open to counterattack, and because I'm guessing their supply lines aren't the greatest. Like, and man, I'm saying like way too much now. But cool, I can buy property in town. I think I could do that before, but you know, whatever, it's always nice to feel wanted. And alright. Well, Whiterun is still in our hands. And it's an excuse to drink. So I think we can almost call it a day right here, but we are going to report back to I cannot talk for the life of me. We are going to report back to General Tullius and hopefully get another promotion, because after all that mindless fighting and after having to listen to all that mindless commentary, we certainly deserve it. And should I want to buy a house here, so I need money. So I mean, I can have a house. Should I go for it, guys? Should I go for it? Well, maybe. Yeah. And that's just the skull of the, well, I guess it's not it probably is, it might be the skull of the dragon at Dragon's Reach. That was actually like a prison for that one dragon. Of And man, it is still really like, how much stuff did they fling in here? Whoa, everything is still locked. Well, I don't know, we just did finish fighting off a massive army, so it's not too surprising. Let's fast travel over to Whiterun Stables. I think before you need to leave the city for at least a bit before everything returns to normal, which is understandable. And is it just me, or does that character model look kind of like Braveheart? I've never seen that movie, but I've seen screenshots from it, and that kind of looks like him. And I guess the carriage isn't around here either. And yeah, let's just move right up to Solitude. Out of all the cities in Skyrim, what one would you guys want to live in? I don't know. What I'd pick, like, I like the scenery around Riften, but you've got the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary right by it. I noticed there's a lot of wolves in there, and I would probably pick Solitude because it seems to be the nicest and most cosmopolitan of all the heavily fortified and, I guess, pretty well governed. Like, I mean, you've got the entire Wolf Queen thing threatening to blow up in your face, but when you have to compare that with the vampires in Morthal, how everyone's kind of racist in Windhelm, the fact that Winterhold might fall into the sea at any moment, like, I realize the entire Great Collapse thing might have been triggered by the Red Year, even though that 100-year gap's roughly in between the actual collapse and the eruption of the Red Mountain does raise some questions, and the fact that it doesn't look like it, well, it's not actually going to collapse, but since, or I don't know, they never say anything about them really worrying about, I really can't talk today, a second great collapse, but it's just, aside from the college, nothing is really up there, and also it seems like with a lot of the magic in the Elder Scrolls universe, stuff goes wrong pretty often. Like, they mention about interns accidentally setting themselves on fire, and just a whole bunch of other lovely stuff. Whiterun is pretty good, but yeah, there's not really that much. Yeah, Whiterun is one I'd also live in. Riften, it's close to the Cyrodiil border, but it's kind of a dump with the entire Thieves Guild thing. Well, with them, it's just kind of a rough town. And yes, I'm going to go through all the holds. Markarth, don't even get me started on. It's run by basically a mafia family. We've got the Forsworn prosecuting, I cannot pronounce that. Waging, that's the word! Well, I guess they are kind of raging around, but yeah, again, I'm really tired. Waging a guerrilla war against everyone who isn't a Forsworn, Namira's creepy cannibal cult, and Molag Bol's demonic evil possession house, and plus, well, drummer architecture is kind of cool. Do you really want to live around that stuff constantly? So yeah, I'd pick Solitude and Whiterun as my places. And, you know, the wilderness is nice in Skyrim. Like, definitely one of those houses you can build with the Hearthfire expansion is nice, but I would want a lot of guards hanging around, because, simply put, dragon attacks, giant attacks, bandits, vampires, it's like, honestly, it is really not for the faint of heart. Alright, well, we defended Whiterun, and we want more orders. And by the way, I really like his armor. Even though it's definitely more decorative than practical, which honestly describes quite a bit of the armor in Skyrim. Well, I don't know, I guess a fair bit of it is, but there's also the entire fact that most of the armor in Skyrim isn't really weather appropriate. Like, I've already talked at length about how, as much as I like the Imperial uniforms, I can't imagine having to wear them in this cold weather. And it would have a pretty hard effect on, well, anyone. I mean, we have written accounts of when the Roman legionaries were in Armenia. When they were out cutting wood, one guy came back, dropped his wood, and his arms fell off as well. I mean, granted, that's probably exaggeration, but yeah, it would not have been very pleasant, and I can't imagine the armor here being pleasant either. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.